Into the forest I go to forage for some violets. It's early May here in New Jersey, and violets are popping up everywhere. I wasn't expecting to find violets on my hike today, but thankfully I brought my foraging basket, my makeshift foraging basket, and I collected as many violets as I could find. Um, Violets are really good for the lymphatic system, for the respiratory system. It's a really cooling and moistening herb that people tend to use for coughs and stimulating the lymphatic system. I just wanted to collect some to make some syrup. This was my first time finding and foraging for violets since I started on my plant journey, and it was so fun to collect them. They're just so easy to pluck, and they're beautiful, and they just make you happy in their presence. So yeah, here's the basket full of them, and here's the beautiful little flowers. They have 5 leaves, 5 petals. And here I am just emptying all the flowers into some water to rinse off any debris. I'm using cool water here, and I go pretty deep into the woods, so I'm not worried about pesticides. I'm just worried about, bugs or dirt. So yeah, I'm just gonna rinse them off. And if you can see, that's my makeshift foraging basket. I just tied an old scarf onto a wicker plant pot. So I'm just mixing them up in the water, rinsing things off. And I have about a cup here of violets. So now I'm just squeezing the water out, and just gonna put them in this big jar. It's pretty oversized. Feel free to use a smaller jar if you have one. This was just all I had available at the moment. It works fine for me. So yeah, I'm just squeezing out the rest of the water and just popping them in that huge jar. All right, there we go. So here's about a cup of violets in the jar. I just love the color of them. They're genuinely that violet color. All right, and now I'm just gonna squeeze some lemon in there, just a little bit, just to preserve that beautiful color. And I'm boiling some water, about a cup and a half of water. And then I'm pouring that into the jar, and I just made sure to leave the water sitting without heat for a little bit just to cool it off so it's not completely boiling when I pour it into the jar. Yeah, that's just so the color doesn't die out. Alright, and just swishing it around. So I let that sit overnight, and now I'm going to strain them out and collect the liquid. So yeah, I let that sit overnight. So the violet's really infused into the water. And yeah, so now all the violets are in the strainer. I'm just going to push out the excess water with the spoon. And you can already see how beautiful the color of the liquid is. And I'm using honey for my syrup, just because it's healthy and I like honey more than sugar. So yeah, I'm gonna scoop about half a cup or a cup of honey into the water, to the liquid. I think it's probably about closer to a cup. Yeah, you can feel free to use granulated sugar because the color will stay that bright violet color. As opposed to using honey, it kind of kills off that bright color and it makes it a little dark and brownish. But yeah, I just prefer to use honey. Yeah, as you can tell, I really like it. I'm licking it off my fingers. Yep. All right. And there's the blob of honey in the liquid, and I'm going to double boil it. So I'm putting that pot of violet water with the honey over the boiling water so the honey dissolves into the violet liquid. So I'm going to dissolve that, stir it up a little bit. And yeah, you can tell it's not bright, but it's still that purpley color. And now I'm adding a little bit of brandy into it just for preserving methods, preserving purposes. Yeah, not a lot. And now I'm pouring it into jars. It's still a pretty color. It matches my shirt. Yeah. After I do this, I'm just gonna let it sit in the fridge for a little bit, let it chill, and then I'm going to shake it up and spoon some of it into some sparkling water to make a little elixir. You can also just take a spoonful of this because it tastes really good and sweet and florally to get the medicinal benefits of violets. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching my journey with violets, and I'm hoping that this inspires you to get outside and start connecting with plants more because they're here to help us and they're here to share their wisdom with us, and we definitely need some more of that.